Hi drummers, hope you're well. Little drum fill of the week for you here. This is another one featuring the Gary Chaffee linear system, which I'm a huge fan of, and I've made several videos about now. The video that sort of goes through the system itself, I will link to below, so check that out if you're not familiar with it. Long story short, when you're using this system, the linear system, as in linear drumming, so no two things play together, your hands and feet play the notes in a line, and it typically involves right stick and left stick and kick drum. What we do is we take a solid note value, in this case 30-second notes. This is actually a bar of 30-second notes that finishes on the and of beat 4, and we chop those notes up into smaller little groups. And what happens is, if the groups are an even number, for example 4 or 6, you play single stroke roll, and you finish with 2 kick drums, 2 bass drums in a row. For example, a group of 4 goes right, left, kick, kick. And if you've got an odd number, you do the same thing. You play single stroke roll with your sticks, and you finish that little unit with 1 kick, 1 bass drum. In fact, in this drum fill, it's all even. So here's the fill. Now, as you can see here in this particular orchestration, which I really enjoy playing, the right stick or lead stick always plays on the floor tom, and the left stick or other stick always plays on the hi-hat. The groupings are a 4, as in right, left, kick, kick, then another 4, then a 6. So the 6 is right, left, kick, kick, then a 4, then a 6, then a 4, and then I tend to play a crash and a snare together because I just really like that sound. So 4, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4, 4, 4, 6, 4, 6, 4. So I can't repeat enough. These are 30-second notes, but even more important than that, they're evenly spaced hits. So the thing that most commonly drummers get a bit unstuck with, in my experience, when they're first learning fills of this sort, is not playing evenly spaced. All the notes are evenly spaced. The only gap, so to speak, is after that crash and snare at the end, while you're waiting for the next beat to start. It effectively finishes on the and of beat 4, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll do that again a bit cleaner. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the only gap, so to speak, is when you've hit that crash and snare at the end, the and of beat 4, and then you go back into your groove on beat 1, right? What I'm going to do in this video, a little bit unusually, is use the metronome. I tend to breeze past this bit, and it's apparent to me, after having done quite a few of these type of videos and then had sessions with people where they've sort of worked it up, one thing that I should spend more time talking about is the metronome, because I really love using the metronome. It's really super useful. So I'm just going to do a bit of practice of this drum fill here. Now, before you turn your metronome on, what I like to do is at least get a little bit of fluency going with the fill itself. So the first thing to do is line the notes up. And there's no lower limit here for what speed you go at. So we're going to take it real slow. So right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. Snare and crash. Sometimes it's nice when you're working out to the hi-hat sound, which sounds great at full speed, I think. Can be a bit weird, a bit off-putting at first. So very often what we'll do is we'll build it up with both sticks on drums. Let's go with that again. So right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, right, left, kick, kick, right, left, kick, kick. So So the first step is lining it up, and you don't need to do a metronome for that. I would say most importantly, just get your hands and your feet playing the thing, evenly spaced at first. Then you bring the click in. So I'm going to start it here real slow. Let's start it at like 60 beats per minute. The metronome I'm using here is one called Metronomics, which is really cool, and I use it on Mac desktop, but I also use loads of different metronome apps on iPhone. Any free metronome is good. In fact, if you go to Google and you type in the word metronome, a metronome appears in the search results, which is perfectly usable as far as I'm concerned. So just any metronome that keeps a solid beat is fine here. So here it comes as 30-second notes at 40 beats per minute. 2, 3, 4. I'll do a bar of groove, then a bar of fill. Here it comes. Okay, 3 and 4, here it comes. So it represents its own challenge, doing it at this slow speed. And one time. Okay, we'll do one for luck at 40 beats per minute. Here it comes. Okay, and then you'd push it up maybe 45, 50. I'm going to just whiz through this a little bit. I'm pretty sure no one's that interested in seeing me go at 5 beats per minute. So I'm going to whiz up to 60 here, just to kind of see what sort of different character it has as we go a bit quicker. So here we are at 60 beats per minute. 1 bar groove, 1 bar fill. 1 and 3 and 4, here we go. You get the idea? Okay, I'm now going to move my left stick to the hi-hat. Now I've got a little feel for it. And last time, here we go. All right, cool. And I really wanted to make the point that I actually do this. So quite often on these videos, I just kind of breeze through this process of building it up, or I just say build it up. Just to be clear, this is what I do. So people often message me, regarding these videos, and they say, yeah, I like that fill, but they say, I'm struggling to play it at the speed you did. Have you got any tips? And I think maybe I need to labour the point that these things are built, man. Like you carve it out, you chisel it out of stone, little bit by little bit. I think there's some people are just wildly confused about how learning the drums and physical skills involved with it, like how it actually works and how long it takes and the sort of investment of effort that's required. You build it bit by bit, man. I just want to be super clear that that's what I do on a daily basis to sort of build these up, and that's how I see this working. So you do need to put in the work, man. There's no kind of shortcut to this, but if you're consistent and persistent, and especially using your metronome bit by bit, man, that's the most efficient route, in my opinion, to building these up. Anyway, whizzing forward a bit, here we are to 80 beats per minute. 2, 3, 4, bar of groove. Here we go. So I feel at this point it's starting to get a bit of musical flow. starting to really feel musical, man. Feel like you're starting to feel the context of it, like where you'd actually use it in context in music, right? I'm going to go up to 90 now. Same story, 1 bar groove, 1 bar fill. 3, 4. And 4 and 3, 4. And just for fun, let's go 100 beats per minute. And something I'm always waffling on about in my videos is the improvement zone, just because this is so close to my heart when I'm doing my own practice. I want to get into that improvement zone. That's where all the improvement is. All this waffle people talk about, this, that, and the other. Man, that's where the improvement is. There's a very small zone, in my opinion, in my experience, of tempo in this case, where you're actually improving. You're actually getting better. Now, going slow and deliberate is really, really good because it gets it in your system, right? It allows your hands and your feet to see what's going on, allows your nervous system to experience the right combination of notes in the right order. And in my opinion, that's really, really important. You need to establish that precedent first. And I've made videos about myelination and things of that sort before. That needs to occur before you really start picking up speed with things like this. I'll link to that video about myelination as well below. And then working it up slower than your improvement zone is great because you're doing the same thing. You're reinforcing that series of messages that your nervous system needs to send between your brain and your hands and your feet. So that's really, really important. But where all the action is assuming that you've worked up to the point, say that you were in the same sort of boat that I'm at there, you get to about 100 beats per minute. I was just noticing there that it was just starting to feel quite a bit more challenging. I was starting to feel a bit, not quite rushed on the kick drum, but I was starting to feel like it could be a little cleaner here and there. It started to feel like it was becoming an effort at that particular point. I am there in my improvement zone, and I can't stress this enough. For me, that's where we need to be to improve. Okay, you can think about technique and all those things, and I've made lots of videos about that, and that's all important, foot technique and all that stuff. But just putting that to one side, or taking that as read for a second, all the action, all the improvement is in that improvement zone. And by the improvement zone, I think of it as the zone where you can just about play the thing still, but it's a little bit of a challenge. You're feeling that sense of I was just starting to sort of tense up a little bit there and just starting to notice it becoming more difficult. I'm still on the whole playing it, still sort of recognizable as that thing, but it is still it is becoming a bit of a challenge. I'm just starting to notice actually this is a bit like hard work here. I'm on the edge of playing it cleanly here. So that's where we want to be, man. And the point is, you live in that zone. As you're persistent and consistent at staying in that zone, obviously the tempo at which you're in that zone will increase as you keep going, as time goes on. So that's the magic, man. And this is a really fun drum fill. But I just wanted to this time labor that point, that this is the process I would use to building it up. I would use a metronome. I do sometimes as well not use a metronome and just do it a bit more organically, just in the classic slow to fast to slow type of fashion, which again I've made videos about before as a method for building things up. And sometimes I will just do things like put on music as well and jam it along a bit more informally. But this is the most efficient way, I think, using your metronome in this way, just the most efficient way of building up fills of this nature. And just to be super clear, like people are often seem like baffled, or they say it's bizarre, it's strange, I don't understand why I can't do it. You have to go through this process, man. You have to sweat this one out, man. You have to go from playing it slowly and cleanly and work it up bit by bit. Now, obviously, as you get more experienced and you do lots of different things involving your bass drum, like as your general skill set, builds up, obviously it's going to give you a massive head start on all these things that you're doing. You don't have to build up every single drum fill from scratch, because obviously all the skills massively overlap. But that's the principle, man. And I just want to labour the point that the metronome's super useful for that. So thanks for watching as always. Really appreciate it. I hope that was useful. Please like, share and subscribe. And if you do subscribe and you want to get a notification every time I upload a video, which is pretty much every day, please click the little bell icon. Thanks as well to all the amazing people who supported this channel via buying me a coffee at my Buy Me a Coffee support page, and also by becoming channel members at the same page. I'll link to that below. If you found these videos useful or helpful or entertaining in any way, and you're in a position to, please consider supporting the channel by buying me a coffee or becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get a load of great features in addition to supporting the channel and helping it grow. A customized practice plan, complimentary Zoom session, access to future Zoom and face-to-face drum lessons if you want, and a whole load of other things, members videos, breakdowns of the note-for-note video, drum covers that I put on this channel, and loads of other stuff as well. Details below if that's of interest. Thanks a million. See you soon.